Hello, good people, and welcome to the Amateur Hour. My name's Justin.
My name's Tyler.
And I'm the one called Junior.
And welcome back to episode 2. The one previously that you heard was episode 1.5, half of an episode. We're getting ready, we're getting things set. It was more of like a get to know us.
Audio test, introduction, new guy on the team. His name's Junior, as he just said. But now we're ready for an actual episode 2.
And before we get into the episode, I want to shout out a special thank you to our sponsors, Oxford Gamerz Den and Lofty Cat Studios.
So, let's, the basis of this podcast is kind of centered around, video games. We like comics, computers, but we also really like movies, too. And Marvel definitely had some heavy hitters this year. But let's talk about the other ones that we're pretty excited about this year, like past ones that are coming out. It Chapter 2 just came out, and I'm pretty excited to see that.
I know, dude, we got to see that.
Yeah.
We seen the first It all together. It was like me, you, my brother. And that was such a good movie. And honestly, it wasn't scary. It's just interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's a thriller.
Yeah, I don't know why people... I've heard a few people crapping on it because, it's not that, it wasn't scary enough. I even heard the second one wasn't scary enough.
Oh, don't spoil that for me. Don't say more.
Oh, well. Well, but it's not supposed to be scary. It's more or less an interesting story to me rather than it being a scary film. I don't know, like a horror film. There you go.
Yeah, thriller, suspense.
Exactly. I don't know why films have to be, I guess... horror films have to have jump scares every 10 seconds because then that gets old. Like Conjuring 2, have you heard of that coming? Or 3?
The original Conjuring
was good.
Was really good. I really liked that. I haven't seen the second one,
I haven't either.
But I heard they were it people said they tried too hard to make it scary, so it was predictable.
Yeah, that's how most of them I feel like are. It's all jump scares at that point. Jump scares, and then you got the broken violin.
Right?
Yeah, I got so bored of horror movies after a while.
I think The Conjuring might have been the last scary movie that I seen that actually had me on my toes.
Well, and this was kind of going back to the conversation I was trying to start. Midsummer came out this year, and I really wanted to see that. The director has a different take on horror. He's the one that made Hereditary also. And one of my family members was like, I really like scary movies, and Hereditary was like one that really freaked me out. That's like one of my favorites now.
Okay.
And so, it's got some validity to that director being pretty good. If people are saying,
Well, what's this next film about?
Midsummer is like, I think they go to a couple breaks up, but they still end up going to Sweden together or something, and just okay, so this is the part that really, when I read the reviews on it, it's all daylight. There's no hiding in the darkness. Everything's plain sight. Yeah.
So you're not going to expect anything then.
Yeah.
It's a whole different vibe when you're watching it.
Yeah. So this
That sounds
festival
interesting.
celebrates I think it's a whole bunch of days, a series of days where there's no night to it. Mm-hmm. So it's all daylight.
Oh.
And so middle of the night is day still.
Oh, jeez.
We're going to have to watch that one. That one sounds like it's going to be really good. It's different. That's what I like.
That's what I like, too.
I like Jordan Peele's take on horror movies.
Yeah. I still have yet to see Us, but...
I seen that one, actually, 2 days ago.
Oh, okay.
And that was... I wouldn't say it was scary.
Wasn't as good as Get Out?
Get Out was still better.
Yeah.
But Us was pretty good. It was a twist that I was, I guess, kind of expecting, but not expecting at the same time.
We're going to have to cut that out.
Leave it in.
It's the weather, guys. I swear I don't.
But Us was a great film. I still liked it. Jordan Peele, he's such a unique. I don't know if you heard this. He's doing Candyman.
I think I did hear that.
Candyman was a weird horror movie. I've only seen a little bit of it, but I know it's an iconic character.
Yeah.
And I'm excited what his take is going to be on it. And I know he's doing the new Twilight series as well. Of the old, Twilight Zone.
Oh, the Twilight
films.
Zone, yeah.
Yeah, now he's the new host, and
Not
he's
the
writing the... Yeah, and then now he's writing the episode, so I'm really excited what he's gonna do because he's a very dark individual, yet he's a comedian, which is kind of crazy.
I mean, that kind of goes hand in hand sometimes, I feel like.
I don't know. We tell some jokes to each other that are pretty damn terrible if you were to tell, like, someone's mom, but then we're going to laugh at it, so.
Yeah, I think to an extent it's because comedians have to laugh at the horrible things, and it's because they laugh at the horrible things that makes them comedians, because they can make it so absurd and so crazy. But then secretly, they're just such dark individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's insane. I'm trying to think of another Marvel film that's gonna come out in a while, but I'm not quite sure.
Well, I was saying let's take a step away from Marvel because there was other pretty good movies that came out this year.
Unfortunately, we won't have any Spider-Man movies, but that's besides the point.
Oh, we will, but it would be Sony, and that's gonna be garbage. But whatever.
Well, it might be garbage, but Disney was overstepping on that one. Come on, like
There was some immaturity on both sides.
Yeah,
they should have took the what was it like 70-30 offered at one point. They should have took it
something
because
like
they're
that.
gonna make so much more profit on everything else. It's like
Oh, the
all right.
profit's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's like why do you need the 50-50 at that
I
point?
agree because they have all that money. They don't need more money. But at the same token, they were so good at keeping their universe so connected, as well as understanding each character. I feel like Sony, in the beginning, they understood when it was Sam Raimi directing the films. But then when it got to Andrew Garfield, it just made no sense. No sense to me. I don't know. It was okay. Like the first one was great. And then they introduced the second one. I was like, yeah, this is horrible. Like, just...
I'm going to be honest. I watch the movies, and I usually enjoy them. When you guys start talking about names and everything, that's the part I usually don't pay attention to.
The first Spider-Man, which was Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And the very first films that came out. And then the second one was Andrew Garfield.
Mm-hmm.
He was I guess he was too cool to play Spider-Man, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess I could see that he was a little cool.
I was just like, eh.
It's like, yeah, I kind of want to be like that guy.
And then they're supposed to do a TV show, live-action TV shows for now the Spider-Man characters. Sony is. So I'm like, that's kind of crazy. I don't know. I'm excited for that. Or
You guys excited for Disney Plus?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Disney Plus seems really cool because I believe they throw in Hulu and ESPN.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's so worth the money. And it's
Definitely.
only, what, like $12 a month?
I think so.
That is 100% worth it because the originals are going to be bonkers. Because I'm assuming they have a larger budget than what they would have had, let's say, if they did a film or if any other like Netflix TV show would have done a show. Because Netflix has a specific budget. But this is Disney Plus, so this is Disney funding all these, originals. So it's going to be like many films in those TV shows, which is going to be great. I don't know any specific show you guys are looking forward to that Disney's originally creating.
Not really.
There's a lot of them, but
I can't pull up a name off the top of my head.
is Black Widow getting a series?
No, she's getting her own individual
Yeah,
film.
she's getting a standalone movie that's kind of like a prequel, right?
Yeah. Everything that happened in Budapest that they're always talking about.
Yeah.
They have The Mandalorian coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know
Is that
about
this year?
one.
Or is it next year?
That's as soon as Disney Plus launches.
Oh, it's going to be like an exclusive?
Yeah, they already got a
They
second
have a few
season.
different exclusives ready for it, don't they?
Oh, yeah. So there's, I believe, WandaVision, which is...
that's the one I was trying to think of.
Yeah. WandaVision's going to be really cool because it's going to explore Scarlet Witch's powers a bit more and her being a witch. And it actually is going to connect with Doctor Strange, too.
That'll be a good one. I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the first one.
No, it's
No.
good.
Bro.
And I haven't
it's on
seen the
Netflix.
second Ant-Man either.
Talking about films that people haven't seen, Tyler has not seen Star Wars.
I have seen bits of Star Wars, but
Bits of
I've
Star
never
Wars
finished
doesn't
a
count.
Star Wars movie.
I'll throw myself off the boat on this one. I haven't seen any of the Lord of the Rings. None of the Hobbits.
What?
Nothing.
Oh my gosh, what type of friends do
I
I have?
haven't watched them all, but I've seen I don't know how many there are, but I think I've seen one or two, and I finished them. So
I've seen all of them, including The Hobbit that was released.
Justin over here, a movie's going to release in theaters, and he'll see it 3 times before he gets it on DVD.
Yeah,
This is true.
So if there's anyone that knows about a movie or anything, it's going to be Justin.
when like Star Wars Rogue One came out.
I think I saw it with you twice.
Yeah, I seen it with you one, and then we seen it again, and then I took my cousin to see it, and then I seen it with another friend of mine. I seen that one like 4 times.
That's
And
been the best one so far of the new.
I agree. I agree. It was like Force Awakens and Rogue One, and then, well, we all know what happened to The Last Jedi. It was all right. Well, Tyler doesn't know because he didn't see it.
I don't know either because I haven't
You
seen
know,
that one either.
I'm disappointed in myself for that because growing up, there's always been the Lego sets, the toys, books. Star Wars has a ridiculous amount of stuff
it's a part
compared
of
to a
pop
lot of
culture.
other stuff. And I had a couple of the Lego sets. I'm looking at the toys. I'm like, this shit's really cool. But I'm sitting here like, I can't buy none of this stuff. I don't know enough about Star Wars. So I'm like, I'll build the Lego set because it looks awesome, but I don't know what's going on in the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I wish I knew more about Star Wars because they have some of the coolest stuffs along with their films and everything too.
It shocked me so much to my core when you told me that you did not see Star Wars. I was like, what? Because now it's such a big part of pop culture, as well as Lord of the Rings. Because, you know, everyone's seen that by this point. And either they have a take that they don't like it or they do like it. It doesn't matter. They've seen it. And it's because they've seen it that, I don't know. It's like you're uncultured now, Tyler. Because you did not see.
The worst part about it is the 3 of us, we are some pretty nerdy people. And
That is true.
Star Wars is it's a big nerd moment, if you ask me. And for me not to know about it or never seen all the movies, it's like it feels like I have a void that has to be filled.
What I love is the fact that being a nerd has kind of come full circle, as you will. And instead of it always being like a bad thing, like before I think people didn't like superheroes, like, oh, that's stupid or whatever, when it was just comics or the films were barely coming out. But now it's so popular to be the individual that I like Star Wars, I like Star Trek, I like, you know, Marvel, I like, and all these different films and all these different things that were deemed nerdy are now cool.
Yeah, and part of that is because the movies came out, I think. Because before, I mean, Justin has a collection of comic books and everything and a whole bunch of other stuff. But when the movies started coming out, everyone around us was like, did you see the new movie? Did you see the Marvel movie, the DC movie, the whatever movie? Sorry, guys. And then all of a sudden we have all the movies for everyone coming out, and all of a sudden everyone around us is like, oh, dude, Marvel or DC or all these nerd stuff is all super awesome. And they never read the comics or any of that stuff. It was like, you barely know anything, but it exploded like that. And now everyone's like, oh, let's get the little figurines, the toys, a few comics here, even though we're not going to read them, but I like Marvel, so I'll buy comics now. But then they have all the movie collections.
Yeah, it's really cool that it's so popular now. Like, the toys sell like crazy. The comic books now, the comic book shops are a little bit more busy than what they used to be.
Which is good because,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of them closing down.
Yeah, I felt like there was a dropping point for
What's
some
the
time.
one they put up in Highland?
Ooh.
I don't know. I
Is
always
it
go to
10th
10th
Planet?
Planet.
Yeah.
That's Cherville.
10th
Oh.
Planet's good.
I love that one, though.
Yeah.
It's more of a bookstore,
Or the
but
one
they
in
have
Crown
a comic section, and they have all
Oh,
the,
you're thinking Second and Charlie? Or
Second
something?
and Charles. That's it,
Oh.
right there. That one's a good place to go.
Second and Charlie.
I've never been to it, but
Yeah,
I like
no,
that
Second
store.
and Charles is cool.
If you're a pop figure collector,
Yeah.
they have a bunch of those. They
It's
have a
almost like a
huge
display
comic
play.
book section. You can get brand new ones, and they actually have some like older OG comics that you can buy.
Yeah.
And then if you want to do like the full books, where you have like them inch thick books that have like an entire comic story in them. They got that kind of stuff too, and all that's really cool.
Yeah, I really like that store. And for viewers, if you're out of state, we're describing places in Northwest Indiana. So I know not everyone would know but predominantly we're from Indiana, so not going to tell you where.
Oh, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, we did record in Chicago for the first one, and we actually do have our own studio in Indiana now.
Yeah, again.
We are legit.
Yeah, so now we're in Indiana, so maybe we might change that. But yeah, shout out to our Indiana folk.
Yeah. Like Lofty Cat Studios.
Lofty Cat Studios is in Crown Point, Indiana. So if you guys ever local bands, hit them up. You want to record a song solo band, or that's not considered a band, but solo artists, go and hit up Lofty Cat Studios. He's got great prices as well as studio time. Usually an hour, at least I was told, it might be $40. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, he'll record your music. He'll put it on CDs. That might cost a little bit extra, but support our local.
He has all the equipment and everything. $40, that's not bad at all.
We almost recorded there because at the time when our stuff didn't come in, we were going to try and meet a deadline. But unfortunately, or fortunately, our stuff came in on time, where everything worked out, and we didn't have to use him. But he's a great guy, and so shout out to Lofty Cat Studios.
I forgot what the topic was.
Has anyone been around the Crown Point Square?
Yeah. The comic book store?
They have one comic book store there. And
a donut shop?
Yeah.
That's the one I was talking about because I'm a fatty. I love the donuts. Their donuts are huge and expensive, but they're so delicious.
I don't think we got a donut. Oh, no, we did get donuts last time. It was on Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I feel like I remember them being a little bit pricey, but they are like wild, all kind of flavored donuts. I think they had like a bacon maple one or something.
We were hitting up all the comic book shops during Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
We were driving here, we were driving there.
Isn't there a couple on the square?
No, just one.
There's just one?
I think it is. Well, there was one down the street, Amazing Fantasy.
Okay.
That closed, though.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, see, I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, I've told you about it when we were going to make a trip, but we just never made it.
Jeez.
I always like the one on the square just because of the vibe you get when you walk in there. It used to be a bank, so they have like a big vault that they open a door, and that's where like their expensive stuff is. And you can go in there and you feel like you can't touch it because it's like I don't know, let's say they only made 5 of them and they just happen to have one there or something like that.
Yeah, and the square, for people who don't know, is pretty much like a little town hall, I guess you could say, or like city for Crown Point.
Yeah, sitting in the middle is like the courthouse.
Yeah, and everybody goes there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there's bars, restaurants. It's like a little bit more high-end restaurants around there.
One day we'll have to go down there. They have a new barbecue restaurant.
Really?
I've been wanting to check out. It's always packed.
You know the name?
I can't remember what it is.
I like barbecue, but I like it. For instance, I like it without the barbecue, which is the point that makes it barbecue. I like how it's grilled.
Barbecue sauce?
Yeah, barbecue sauce is not my favorite. I try it every time.
Well, they have other stuff. You can have spicy stuff. I mean, have you ever been to Q Barbecue?
That's good. That's a good spot.
I think you've taken me.
Yeah.
And you can get the really hot or really spicy barbecue sauce. It's still barbecue sauce, but it's a completely different flavor. It's really good.
It just has like this smoky sort of taste to it, as well as like it's sweet. I don't really like sweet foods. I don't know. I'm just picky, guys.
No, I kind of you are picky, but I kind of get it
what
because
he's saying.
Sometimes when like stuff's super smoky. 18th Street, for instance, I went there a couple of days ago, Friday, and their wings are delicious, but they have like a heavy smoke flavor to them. So after like the 4th one, I'm kind of like, oh, this flavor's getting a little too intense for me.
You start tasting like charcoal, and I mean, it makes you real mad. But at the same token, I'm just like, no, not my favorite.
But still, those wings are delicious, despite the fact.
You can't eat a lot of them. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So like you have 3 or 4 and you're like, oh man, this is so good. You get 5 or 6 and the taste just keeps on getting stronger and stronger and it gets overwhelming at a point.
I recently went to a place called Square Roots on the square, and they have like a American menu, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
And they have 10-inch pizzas that you can order. Similar to the personal pan pizza at Pizza Hut. It's like a small, fluffy one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's got like quality toppings on it. I thought that pizza was pretty good.
Kind of like Tomato Bar?
Oh,
I haven't been there in years. I never really liked Tomato Bar like
No?
that.
you didn't have their calzone? I thought
No,
we had
definitely.
their calzones.
No,
I
we went
love
to
Tomato Bar.
Rosati's.
Rosati's. That's what it was.
But Tomato Bar's calzones are really good. I have to shout them out.
Tomato Bar has the same thing. Like, you can order a personal 10-inch pizza.
Is it fluffy? Because that's what sold me on the pizza
Yeah.
roots. It was fluffy.
Because Pizza Hut's is fluffy.
I want to say you can order different kind of crust, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do agree, the thick, fluffy crust is really good, especially when you get to the end and you can dip your crust into like a sauce or something. That's really good.
Yeah, Northwest Indiana's pizza game is really stepping up. We got Giordano's, the Illuminati's Express just opened up.
Yeah, I haven't even checked that out. Where is it at?
You remember where H-Dog was? By
No.
TJ Maxx? in
Oh,
Highland?
TJ Maxx, yeah.
Yeah. But the one thing I don't like about it is when you go to Illuminati's, you get the pizza, they serve it to you, you got the cheese flowing.
Yeah.
But by the time you get home, it's a little cooled down.
Oh.
Yeah, see,
Is it like a sit-in restaurant or is it
No.
just one? Oh.
it's takeout. See, that's what I was upset about too.
Yeah, Illuminati's is not a place to get takeout. Like, I mean, I guess it's if you take pizza home the next day, but it's a diner
If you're
like
having a
Giordano's.
pizza served in front of you and the cheese is stretching and it's all fresh, like, you need to sit down and eat it.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
you know
maybe
what I
for me
mean?
it's a little worse just because it's like maybe a 20-minute drive just to
Right.
get home.
You're almost as far as I am.
Yeah.
We're about in the same area. That's, depending on traffic, you can be driving for half hour or a little bit more sometimes.
Actually, before Tyler got engaged, we went to Giordano's.
Oh.
You remember that day? That day was great.
Over here?
Yeah,
Okay.
out here in Indiana. And then we went to Chicago later that day, but I'll keep that personal. But it was a great day. My point is that pizza was so good that you had to have it right before you got engaged, okay?
Oh yeah, that was a special day. So I treated everyone there.
Oh yeah,
wow.
it was delicious. Yeah, Tyler, he was Mr. Moneybags over here.
Ooh.
I'm broke now, guys.
What are you kidding me? We got a ton of equipment here. We're flowing with money.
That's why he's broke. Are you guys excited for Rick and Morty season 4?
Rick and
Oh, I
Morty
know nothing
season
about
4.
it, but I used to watch that show with Justin. It's awesome.
I'm excited.
Let's
Rick
talk
and
about
Morty
it
se-
because
what
I would like to
happened,
get
you know?
back into it.
Okay, they kind of lost me for a while though because they weren't
yeah.
doing anything.
Well, first of all, I think the first 2 seasons they had like separate skits, but they all tied in together at some point. You know what I mean? Something that happened this episode affected an episode that happened later, and then season 3 kind of came along, and it was just kind of like not as tied in.
Yeah, it was too, and that's what everyone else does. Like I don't want like in Family Guy, for instance. Not everything's tied in.
Yeah, which is fine because they stuck with that.
Yeah, but Rick and Morty, it's like no, it has to, I guess, adventure off, but at the same time, it has to connect with something. The
Yeah.
pieces have to align because if not, you're just throwing a puzzle.
Well, you want one big story that eventually falls together. You don't want to be like, well,
Yeah,
this
'cause it's
happened, but
different.
hold on, what's the aftermath of that?
Yeah, I don't
it's
want,
like
like-
some parts were unfinished.
Exactly. I don't want like a SpongeBob or,
SpongeBob.
you know, or let's say The Simpsons. And it just becomes a bunch of absurdities, but now you don't have any sort of connection with the characters. And that's what made the lore of Rick and Morty so amazing, was the fact that it was a cartoon that was starting to connect everything. One animation that I will shout out that I absolutely love is Final Space, because it continues and connects every episode.
That's
from
another
last
one I need to
season.
follow up on. You
Oh,
showed
yeah.
me that, and I haven't really.
I haven't seen a single
watched
episode.
much.
I can
Really,
show
it's
you.
good. It is good.
It's a very good episode. I followed the creator for some years, and he actually, believe it or not, has had a similar animation idea as me. And I was like, wow, like this guy, it's gonna be cool, because I was like, well, I thought of something particularly similar to it, and actually seeing it finally be created was absolutely amazing. But going back to Rick and Morty, yeah, like that's what made the episode or the show so great.
Yeah, we binge watched that, right?
Yeah, we watched season 1 through season 2 when I had a
I
projector in what is
remember
now our
one time
studio.
you came over to the apartment. We probably binged watched till 4 in the morning.
Yeah, it was amazing. We were laughing every bit of it. We were crying,
Yeah.
like we were crying laughing at the episode because it was just so hilarious. But then season 3 came along. They had some well-known episodes, Pickle Rick, for instance. And but they didn't connect anything, and then I felt kind of bored, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like everything else.
I guess they left an interesting cliffhanger there where we don't know if what's the mother's name?
I
Jane?
think Beth.
Beth, yeah. Beth.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if she's a robot or whatever.
Yeah, they left off where the daughter of the show, which is Rick's daughter, she ends up leaving, or we don't know. Like
Spoiler
Rick gave
alert.
her, yeah. Spoiler alert, by the way. Rick gives her a chance to leave her family and start exploring the galaxy because she felt she was trapped with her husband Jerry in the story, and her family. And he offered to make a clone of her and bring her with the family, or have her explore. But we don't know what she chose. It seemed like she chose to be, let's say, a clone, I guess? Or how did it leave? Oh, no, it left off, actually, she chose to be a part of the family.
So you think. We
So
never
you
see the actual decision she makes.
Exactly. So it's really, I'm really curious to see where that's going to go.
Yeah. But the final episode of season 2, though, that one really,
Yeah.
struck the nerves on that one. It's like, oh, man. They
Yeah.
had Nine Inch Nails Hurt playing, and I was just like,
Exactly. It felt so quality, too. And it
Yeah.
felt so like, well, what's going to happen? Is the season actually going to end? It was a genuine cliffhanger.
yeah.
Where I felt anything could happen.
And then the final episode of season 3, it's like, wow, that, what's going to happen? But I wasn't as like,
Yeah.
I need this now.
I wasn't on the edge of my seat.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just
And
like,
you know what? I was kind of disappointed where they took season 3 right at the beginning episode where he just kind of breaks out.
Yeah, he broke out kind of fast. But, I
Yeah.
mean, that's Rick, though. That's
It
why
is
it didn't
Rick,
bother me
but-
too much.
At
Yeah.
least have like a build up to it.
And it was like it was released on April Fool's Day, and everyone thought it was just a joke episode, but in
Yeah.
actuality, it was the first episode of the show. Now that was cool, and they
That
streamed it
seems
for
like
the
a
whole
Rick
day.
and Morty kind of thing to do.
I love the writers to that show; they're amazing. Justin Roiland, for instance, is the main writer on the show, and he made a video game, a VR video game. It's called Trover Saves the Universe.
Okay.
And it's absolutely. I've watched gameplay of it. I haven't played it
What's it
myself.
about?
It's about like this character named Trover, and he generally has to save the universe from like these. It's really weird. So like these creatures in the game, they have holes in their eyes. That's just empty eye sockets. But they put like these weird.
Let me some eye holes.
Yeah.
Wait, what's this
pretty
obsession
much.
with eyes?
I don't know. But they put like these strange creatures in their eyes, and they get powers, right? And there's this one creature in particular steals your character's dog, and puts it in his eyes, and he becomes exponentially powerful. Like no one can stop him. So then this creature actually shoves your dog in his eye hole, and he becomes super powerful. And now you're tasked with going on an adventure and saving the universe with now another creature named Trover. And it's really weird, but it's absolutely hilarious because it's an interactive game. It's almost like an RPG where you can go almost not anywhere, but you can have a storyline and it could change to something completely different. And it's hilarious. It's Justin Roiland voicing almost every character. And think of Rick and Morty, but
Yeah.
now in a video game.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting.
Sounds pretty.
Yeah.
So
good.
you said that's VR.
Yeah, it's VR and non-VR, actually.
So you could get it on like
Yeah, so I
Xbox?
could get on Xbox and,
Okay.
we could, let's say if we played it, and it could be with controller. So I thought that was really cool.
This might be like a weird question, but can I get it on like my Galaxy and then put it on my like VR thing?
I don't think we can get on the Galaxy, unfortunately. Sorry, Junior.
Well,
sorry.
that's the only VR I have. It's just that headset that came with my
I
phone.
know.
I am trying to get a VR headset for my computer. They're so expensive.
They are. They're like, what, $800?
I don't pay attention. to it.
$900?
I'm not too intrigued with VR.
I'm not.
Well, I don't know if we ever showed you, but I built a racing sim that
Oh,
I have
that'd
in
be
my
pretty
living
cool.
room that has a Logitech steering wheel, shifter, and pedals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
3
wanna
pedals?
Yes, it has the clutch. It has
Yeah.
paddle shifters too. It's really cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
You'll have to come check it out. But if you were having a VR headset and you put yourself in a first-person view like you're inside a race car, it would feel so legit.
That's true.
I still want VR to get better, though.
I do want to be able to stand up and actually do like the motion part where you're standing up and you're reaching for stuff. I feel like that'd be cool to do every once in a while, but the price point, I can't afford to get into it.
Have you guys ever seen Black Mirror? The
Yes.
episode where he puts the little dots and it like puts them inside the game and they become the characters?
Yep.
That's what we need. That'd be cool.
That would be sweet.
Not as weird as that episode, but
Well,
Almost as like Ready
the
Player
concept.
yeah.
One. Ready Player One was cool.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be... Now, that's VR I would get into, but if not, I don't really care for it that much.
Yeah. that's
Because
how I
you're
feel.
still holding a controller, but now you got this weight on your
Have
head.
you ever played Beam, Junior?
Beam?
BeamNG.drive?
No.
No, you'll have to check that out. It's like a realistic physics driving game. You crash cars and it's super realistic.
Is that similar to Wreckfest? Have you guys seen that for Xbox?
I do have Wreckfest too,
Not sure.
but Beam is like more of a driving simulator. Well, Wreckfest is like where you actually race and do all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. So, but similar. There's good physics and everything, but Beam is like you feel like you're in real life when you crash the car. It's that good. You'll have to come check out the steering wheel. And I'll put
definitely.
Beam on you. We'll try some Wreckfest, do some racing. It's really fun. And I got the 55-inch screen. You park that thing right in front of the TV, and it looks like you're in the car.
And before continuing the rest of the podcast, now enjoy a word from our sponsors. Tyler, do you like playing board games?
I do like playing board games.
Well, then I got the place for you.
You now?
Yeah, and especially if you live in Oxford, Mississippi, to be exact. Oxford Gamerz Den!
Join the den!
Join the den! They offer daily events ranging from Magic, Dungeons & Dragons, Warhammer, and Melfox. They give discounts to participating customers of any related event. They do tons of single card sales as well as booster packs for Magic and other TCGs. They also offer a variety of games, board games galore. They have an ever-expanding RPG selection such as D&D, Pathfinder, Vampire the Masquerade, and Star Wars. They also do war games such as Flames of War, 40K, and Malfox. And they also offer an abundance of accessories, paints for modeling, card sleeves, boxes, and binders, as well as playmates. I mean, what more can you ask for, Tyler?
I don't know. It seems like they sure have a hell of a lot for us to get interested in.
Well, I think you should join the den!
Join the den!
Join the den!
Hey, Justin, you like to sing, right? Give us a little something.
Hey, hey!
You need to take that over to Lofty Cat Studios. You can record that kind of music there. They got drum kits, acoustic pianos, Fender and Martin guitars. They can help you get your music on all streaming platforms and get you some CDs made. All right, here's a hot topic to talk about, internet culture. You know, we got these people that, like, everybody's trapped into groupthink, like the whole Chick-fil-A, Popeyes controversy. It's like now everybody has to go and get this Popeyes sandwich just because everybody on the internet says, like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. And no one wants to miss out and everybody wants to be a part of things.
That's
I don't know.
And then you try to get the sandwich and it ain't there anymore.
But why are you trying to get the sandwich now?
I don't know.
It's trust me, I like Culver's spicy chicken sandwich. It was good. I went and I couldn't get a Popeyes chicken sandwich the other day because for some reason it's sold out. We just said it. But I don't know. I don't get why the internet dictates everyone's viewpoint on things. Is it because now we're finally reading opinions of other people, so now we can take in how others feel because now we have, as many people say, the what's it called? It's not all knowing at your fingertips. It's the world at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Now, I don't. What do you?
We have easy access to so much more information, and it's so much easier to put your opinion on things, and it's so much easier for this company to be like, hey, we got this little chicken sandwich, but we're going to make it this huge deal. Everyone needs to try it, and then you get one person that's like takes one bite, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing in the world. And then let's say he has a bunch of followers. They all chime in. All of a sudden, it's this huge thing. Now it's sold out, and it all went to... Yeah, it moves really fast.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just kind of ridiculous to me because, like, you got people speaking in memes. You got people recording, what was the Kiki dance?
Oh, my gosh.
So,
yeah.
like,
yeah.
everybody just falls into the same thing that's going on the internet.
Yeah, it's like carbon cutouts of the same exact person. Because now I feel like a lot of people just lose a certain instance of their own opinion and they just start adopting, like, or like meme culture. After a while, it gets annoying. I love memes; they're funny, but when all you talk about and reference memes when I'm talking to you, it gets annoying. It gets old. I mean, and then some people tell me, that's just because you're not at that level, and I'm like, no, I don't want to be at that level.
You're not you anymore.
Yeah, you're literally you yourself, or a meme, or a meme, or a meme.
Like, if you're going to repeat nothing but memes, all you're doing is taking what someone already said and saying it a million times to everyone else around you. Yeah. Why not come up with something of your own to say?
It's old. It's almost like hipsters. You know how there was, like, you know, now there's deemed hipsters because they're into that sort of classic culture. And
so, yeah.
And now you have memesters. Where that's all they are, is their life's meme, their jokes are memes, and it's funny, but sometimes it'll fly over my head because memes are like, I feel like the slightest things that are outrageous, but yet it's so funny. I don't know. I mean, we touched on kind of the topic in the 1.5 episode of how we kind of felt internet is everywhere now.
Yeah.
And
it's so easy to find things that, like, validate your opinion just because someone else had the same opinion. So exactly. You know what I mean?
It's like now you don't need a doctor because you Google it. Because now I have stage 3 cancer because I don't know. You know, I had to Google it, and now that's what it's telling me. And everyone thinks they're a know-it-all because they have the world at their fingertips. But there's a lot of things I feel people miss out on the internet because they're not necessarily focused on learning it rather than just a quick lesson.
You know, the doctor thing was a good point. I've spent a good amount of time in hospitals talking to doctors and about different things. And I've noticed that when you go to hospitals around here, it's a lot of younger people, and they might be walking around with a laptop or an iPad. They come in the room, they're scrolling through everything. It's like they're reading off a script to you. Everything's on the internet, everything's on their website or something. And then I've been to other hospitals where there was more like a specialty kind of place where they only focused on one thing. And for what I noticed, it was like older doctors, older employees. And their laptop's in the room, but it's shut. And they're talking to my face, and they're like, they actually know what's going on, and they actually say, oh, I've experienced this, we can try this, or this might help because you might be having problems with this. You know, not to get into details, but the point is, they're not so much on the internet. It's coming from them. It's coming from their knowledge that they have.
Yeah.
They're not just like, oh, this guy posted about this, and there's a huge study, and then all of a sudden these group of 100 people are commenting on this study. Well, there's 100 and whatever people there, so that must be the right answer, right? No, it's not.
Yeah, I guess it kind of falls into, is the internet toxic?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's very toxic.
Did it make our world worse now that we have the ability to step in everyone's opinion and understand their mind almost? Because now, like, if I have a thought, I mean, we're kind of, to touch on it again, if I had a thought and I post it, and now I get to know everyone's opinion, rather than before, it was like, well, it was my opinion, you had to come up to me and ask me.
Yeah.
Or I didn't feel so apt to, let's say, give a more negative opinion, but now I'm not seeing you in the face, so I'm going to say this or that about you.
So yeah, there's good and bad. Good is, like you said, you have an idea, you can post it online, and people can give you feedback on it.
Yeah, you connect with other people all over the place.
Yeah, like this
you just have to know how to filter out the bad. You know, there's always going to be people that are just going to say something bad just because that's oh, this guy posted this, let's ruin his day on it. There's going to be that guy that just wants to say something negative because he's a jerk.
Well, I mean,
And
that's one negative consequence from the internet.
Right.
But another one is like actually going out and trying to like socialize.
Mm-hmm.
That's not happening anymore.
Oh,
Like,
no.
I mean, I'm guilty of it too. If I'm at a bar alone or something, or I'm with a friend that trailed off and is trying to talk to some chicks or something, I'm sitting there on my phone because I have nothing else to do.
Well, and it's so easy to pull up your phone. You got how many apps you can go on social media and you can see what your other friends are doing, or you can just play some stupid little game. You can watch a YouTube video. It's all on the palm of your hand now, and it's really awesome. It's a really awesome tool to have, but sometimes we need to figure out, one, either how to think of something to do ourselves, or if we just want to simplify it, can we pick up this phone less?
Yeah, I mean, it gives you... It's now like a form of entertainment because it's entertainment at your fingertips. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Like, out here in the cornfields of Indiana, we don't really have much to do. I mean, there's bowling, there's movies, hanging out with friends. If you're into bars, you go to bars. But there's not quite much to do here. So I could see why people get on their phones and sit there and they just watch YouTube or listen to podcasts. Shout out the amateur hour. And they listen to podcasts and just to fill some time, to get some, maybe they do want to hear opinions and stuff like that. But I don't know. I like the idea that, like, I know the other episode we were talking about smartphones, and in the Google Pixels, I don't know if you guys, they have like an app that's called Digital Wellbeing, and you can limit the amount of time you spend on certain apps.
Yeah, I like that. But how many people are really gonna?
How many people are really going to use it because they're on the phone, right?
Yeah.
I personally, I don't use it, but I start seeing
I feel like
the
that would be
hours I
something
spend.
that your parent would have to set up. Like, let's say you got your kid their first phone.
But how do we self-regulate? I mean, my parents are going to tell me to get off my phone.
Yeah.
And how do us as a generation self-regulate ourselves to decide, you know what, I don't want to be on technology as much anymore?
Well, let's rewind a little bit.
What
here.
would it take for you to get off your phone?
I need activities, man. I mean, that's probably the biggest issue here.
Right. When I'm bored, it's easy for me to pick up my phone and spend an hour or two. And then when I'm done doing it, I look at the clock and I'm like, I could have done something better with that time. So, if we rewind a little bit, go back to like our high school days. We just got smartphones, and we were on them all the time. But I can tell you, one of the biggest things we did on our smartphone, I would pull up Pandora, and I would put it in my pocket and turn the volume back up. And then we would be riding bikes, walking down the path or something. We would still be socializing and still be active. And now you just don't see that anymore. So now you see, if there's a group of kids, even if they have bikes or they're riding around, it's like they're riding around with their phone on their handlebars, scrolling through while they're going. Like,
Yeah.
and, it's getting to be way more, and I don't know. There's social skills of younger people now too are getting worse and worse.
That's what I was trying to say earlier with the whole negative consequence I brought up.
Right.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, this is. I feel like it is having a large negative consequence for our generation, and I honestly don't know how to solve it. Do we just maybe up the age and when someone can get a phone, but then that's taking away obviously a certain right for.
Well, see, it's a hard one to go to there because nowadays, like my little cousins, my uncle's been talking about getting them a phone. And the area that we're in is booming. There's houses going up everywhere. The schools are getting bigger. People are getting more and more friends. So I told my uncle, get her a track phone. Something that you just buy the minute card for.
Yeah.
It'll last her a month. You can still get the smartphone with the screen and the apps. But then that's just, she can walk home from school. Hey, Dad, I'm stopping at my friend's house. And then put the phone away. But I know my little cousin, see, my little brother, he has a phone. He rides around all the time with it, and He's never like on the phone though. If he's talking to someone or if he's watching a YouTube video, that's about it. Otherwise, he usually forgets it at home. But my little cousin, if we were to get her a phone, she will have her face glued in it, and that is all she'll do. And that's where it's going to be not healthy anymore.
Yeah. It's a weird day and age nowadays with technology. It makes things easier, but at the same time, it made things, I feel like, a whole lot worse to an extent. I mean, we even have our, not to get into certain controversial topic, but we have our president tweeting, right?
Yeah.
And sending out every single thought that he has. And two, do you feel like it's a sense of, let's say,
it's a popularity contest almost.
Yeah, like a popularity, but at the same token, it's a validation.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a sense of validation?
Look at all the
getting at?
retweets and likes
Right.
I got.
Yeah, I need to get this like on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, I get 3 likes and I'm happy. I don't need... And why do we get that sort of euphoria from getting likes and people liking our stuff? Do we really need validation from other people to say, you know what, I'm a good guy? I mean, when they're just liking a picture and they have no clue what I've gone through or anything.
That's what kids nowadays are being taught. That is how you are popular by the
Not
amount
to
of likes
say
you
you
have.
guys should like ignore the podcast and not give us a like, but
We need it.
It's very true. I mean, you'll have a group of kids and they'll be walking down the high school halls and they'll take a selfie, and then let's say 3 or 4 periods go by and they pull out their phone and are like, "How come no one liked my picture?"
Yeah.
And some people get upset. Or sometimes someone puts a comment on there that they weren't really expecting. So if you're in your phone more than you are talking to someone's face, I've noticed that when you get into a face-to-face conversation,
It's
that
hard.
person is like hard to talk to.
Yeah, it's like,
But
what do you
then
say?
if you text them, they'll have a full conversation texting you. That's a little backward.
It really is interesting because if you think of what the internet created, it's this whole like microwave society. So like everything needs to be instant. But at the same time, you have enough time to think about like, all right, maybe I'll say this, text it out, send it. But when you're face to face, it's like really instant. Like you have to think of something on the spot.
Well, right, but like,
Yeah.
okay, the 3 of us, we can always have a conversation and always say something back to each other,
The amateur hour.
Yeah, that's why I
right? And
created
every
this
once in a
podcast.
while, I'll talk to my little cousin, and sometimes she gets confused, like she needs to really think about what she has to say to me. And then my other cousin, where he doesn't have a phone, well, he has a phone now because he just got it, but he is like as quick as you can bounce a bouncy ball off the wall and catch it. I'll say something and he'll have an instant reply. Like his social skills are really good. He can talk to anyone. He can stand up and be just fine. Whereas my other cousin, she wants to stay quiet or stay in a corner. But if I were to message her, she'll have no problem talking to me.
You know what? They might need to add that to like school curriculum.
Curriculum.
Yeah.
I got you. It's okay.
Tongue twister.
See, it's called that texting.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know,
Well, I'm
the
a quiet
schools-
person in general, so
Well,
Yeah.
to other people, I guess.
Yeah, not to us.
I open up eventually.
Yeah.
it's hard for me to make.
Yeah, I
small
remember
talk.
the
I
first
know,
time I
I-
met you.
I can have a genuine conversation with someone if it means something, but when it comes to small talk, I just suck at small
I'm
talk.
not a very good small talker.
My
either.
jobs are small talk, so I get used to it after a while. How's the weather, and all that jazz. I mean, I believe too we have that sense of validation because we're social beings. We're built to socialize. I mean, even way back when you had cities and civilizations together, and that just is how we're built. That's who we are.
You had communities.
Yeah.
That's something I think about now. Is there really any more community going on?
But what's sad is that, yeah, we're getting that validation, but I've noticed everything feels a lot lonelier when
Right.
you are on social media. Because you're not having that, contact,
Right. The internet is awesome. Like, okay, let's say opened up a new store We have our social media place. We post it up. Now the people in the local area, they see it on the ad or they see it on their phone. They get a text message or something on social media. Like, oh, cool, let's go visit that place. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But like you were saying in school, how some kids, they won't pay attention as much. But I think, now you go to school and your kid might have a laptop or something instead of a book. And they might be doing like an online class or something like that. But like you said, maybe they need some more interaction at school.
Yeah.
I believe sometimes we should shut the laptops, put down the tablets, and you got to actually do a group thing in class where everyone's got to stand up and they might have to go up to the front of the room and talk in front of everyone.
Yeah,
Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Like I'm
you
not
remember
saying stand up and do a speech.
Yeah.
You remember in class where we would get stuck with random partners and
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
just terrible group projects, but more actually the worst ones were going up in front of everybody, introduce yourself, blah blah blah. But a class that just teaches social skills.
Right.
Yeah, and talking and having a conversation.
I guess maybe not a class, but maybe a club.
Yeah.
No,
Like
I
an
say
act-
class.
Class?
Class.
Okay.
It needs to be in there.
Yeah, it needs to be taught nowadays.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does
that's where
need to
we're
be
at.
taught.
That was kind of like lunch, though. But then you get pushed to quiet down. I was a talkative person. I was always getting detentions for talking.
Yeah, but
But nowadays, it's you really can't shun it too much.
yeah, but then still you might have lunch period that your friends aren't in, or
That's true.
you could still easily sit by yourself somewhere.
And I remember being at lunch a little bit once in a while, and everyone at the lunch table would be in their phone. This was closer to senior year when this would happen every once in a while. I'm like, guys, it's socialized. Talk to each other. Why? Okay, cool. There's just something that happened last period, and now everyone's reading about it. When we used to be like, oh, dude, did you hear what happened last period? Oh my God, and we'll all laugh about it and everything. That doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't. I was like Junior says, we created this microwave of not being able to speak. Everyone's just stuck into themselves and into their thoughts. And I feel like since I'm not having that, let's say, face-to-face validation of having a conversation and someone looking at me and giving a facial expression or laughing.
Yeah.
Now it's just a bunch of LOLs. You're not getting actual human contact. So how am I gonna know you're laughing and laugh with you because of your laughing?
It's an LOL with no actual laughing behind it.
Yeah,
Right.
you know how many times I LOL and I have a dead face?
Yeah.
I'm dead serious, LOL. Or I texted someone and then it's just LMAO. And meanwhile, I'm like, you're not laughing your butt off. You're just standing there.
Right. Well, if I've ever texted you haha or something at the end of a message, I'm literally laughing out loud as I'm typing it.
Yeah. Sometimes I chuckle, sometimes I don't.
Well,
Sometimes
for me,
it's-
the giveaway is the emoji with the laughing and the tears. That's when I'm actually laughing in real life.
Oh, yeah.
that's how you know you got a good one. You're like, that's right. That's a laugh. Right
When
there.
3 of them come in and he had to hit send 4 times, yeah, the Junior's on the floor rolling.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the culture of when we just spoke in emojis? I was never a part of that, but
No.
It was so bad.
It was I don't know if it was a girl thing. I don't want to,
iPhone did it first. iPhone did a whole emoji
Yeah, it
keyboard.
was like when
and all of a
emojis
sudden
came
everyone
out.
was using them at the end of every sentence. Or they actually remember when the iPhone had the feature where the emoji keyboard came up and then all of a sudden it would light up a word in yellow and
Yeah.
you could select that word and automatically put an emoji in.
Yeah,
It got so bad.
it was
But
horrible.
at the same time, it was a little bit fun, but people way overdid it.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of things and that's another thing is I feel like if we're on so much social media and on our phones all the time, now everyone's also gaining more weight. It's a true story. Now you're getting unhealthy is my point, is now you're sitting there because you're not as inclined to go out and run or
Well, no, there's this
outdoor
big
activities.
whole thing of recording yourself working out.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Can we get into that for a second? Is it positive? Is it awesome? Yes. But it just becomes a fad and it's about who lifts more weight. Now it's just jock territory.
Yeah.
Now I'm back in high school, Mm-hmm. That was cringy. But at the same token though, not everyone's let me be honest, I'm not gonna go out there and work out. I'll pack on a few pounds because I don't want to, go out and take a walk or go for a jog because
Lately I've been wanting to get into mountain biking.
Oh, me too.
Yeah?
Yeah, when
Yeah.
I went to Tennessee, I think it was maybe like freshman year in college or something. We did a zip line, and then you were able to mountain bike in the Smoky Mountains. It was like the only trail that the Smoky Mountain has. So they told us. I don't know if that's still true or not. But that was
sounds pretty
so
badass.
fun. What sucked was it's like, it's March. It's still really cold. And so the mud or the dirt had like crystallized, and then it got a little hot, and it melted.
Yeah.
And so it was all mud. Everything was
Ooh.
slippery and sloppy. I think right after we did it, they like closed it down for the day. But we had the chance to do it, and oh my goodness, that was the funnest thing ever.
that sounds fun.
It was really fun. But there's no trails out here. I think the dunes have maybe like one or two, but they're nothing like.
Like mountainous trails.
Mainly, I want to get into mountain biking because I need something active to do.
Oh yeah,
I'm not very active anymore. Like, I'll be completely honest.
That's true.
I've gained weight since the end of high school because
Same.
I'm just not as active.
yeah.
And I want a good mountain bike that I can at least ride down the bike paths around here that we have, just so I can be moving and active. But I really want to get one of the full suspension mountain bikes.
Hit some
For
trails.
Right.
some
I really
trails.
want to do some downhill trails and probably break some shit. But it's going to be worth it, and it's going to
Yeah.
be fun.
Oh man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Northwest Indiana or what, but like I've been really feeling really cooped up. Like there's really nothing for us to do out here.
Yeah, no, there isn't. Like
They're taking out all the fields, and they're taking out any area that we used to play or mess around in.
And they're
More
putting
more
cameras
houses. Oh, cameras everywhere and
Yeah.
houses. There's so much. In high school, we used to drive. We'd pile in my pickup truck, and we would drive to somewhere that would be a 5-10 minute trip. If I want to make that drive today, it's like half an hour, just because of the amount of people that got jammed in this area.
Yeah.
yeah, you're not really getting out there. It's not like
So I want to do like the biking thing because you can go from like Crown Point and you can go
Oh yeah.
really, really far. And let's say maybe we make it a few times over. I think, isn't there the path that goes kind of almost to Michigan City? Can't you get out that far with one of them?
I think in Portage. I think in Portage it might go to Michigan City, but
That would be
Crown
really-
Point goes all the way to Hammond.
Yeah, and that would be a really fun day. You go ride your bike down the Lakeshore Drive and you go on the trails that they have there, or even if you're just riding around town a little bit. I mean, first of all, you're being active.
yeah.
It's going to be kind of a social thing between the group of friends.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard for me to like, because I want to do things, but I also need to find people that also share that same interest.
Right.
Because I don't know, it's just weird kind of doing it alone. The first few times, you kind of want
Yeah.
that, like, hey guys, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And just like everybody hype each other up to go do it.
I have a friend, and she was like, "Oh, I like riding bike, but I don't like riding alone." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll totally ride bike with you." Like that's one of those things where I wouldn't want to do it alone after a while too, because it gets, yeah. I mean, you get that sense of like solace, like where you're nice and you're alone, and you have that time to just think. But I don't want to be alone doing it because it just gets boring after a while.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, it is nice to be alone because you
Yeah.
can clear your head. You can
Reset.
not worry about anyone. Like, reset. That's a good
I
way
would
to
say
say it.
It is, but it isn't at the same time. I'm one of those
Depends on your
individuals.
mood.
Yeah,
It depends on your mood.
I'm one of the
heavily.
individuals. You get me alone, and now I'm overthinking everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my head. I'm like, this person looked at me weird, or I stubbed my toe in a weird
Well, you
way.
know what? That's an opportunity to self reflect, and if you need to fix something, you'll notice it. You'll be like, okay, you know what? That was a little weird that I did there. All right, let me.
Yeah, you'll
kind of-
see to yourself like, oh, that really was a bad thought. Let me rethink this.
Possibly, I feel like I've fallen victim to what's going on now. Is where we need the instance to always be entertained and
Yeah.
always be around something or someone.
I don't know if I have like ADD or something, but I can't sit still. If I'm in a room quiet by myself, my head spins. And it can go good or bad. But when I'm with my friends, I'm doing something active, going on a bike ride, wasting energy. It really makes the whole day like easier for
Oh,
me.
definitely.
Yeah.
Because think about it. You're sitting here alone You have all this energy built up, but you can't use it. It's all going to go to your thought process, and you're going to, like you said, you way overdo things.
Yeah.
Well, if you can have a positive conversation with your buddies, maybe you're walking or riding on a bike path or something, burning off energy, burning off calories. First of all, you're doing something healthy for yourself, but mentally it's good for you too.
Yeah. One of my hobbies that I got around, especially, out here, is I started airsofting, which you guys know about.
Yeah.
And it's so fun because I'm running around, dipping, dodging, and diving, and it's a blast. But I feel like everyone needs that one hobby that's physical.
Definitely.
Doing something, going outside, getting fresh air. Because I believe there's going to be a time where we're not going to have not as fresh of air.
It might be after our time, but it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming, and I mean that's one of those things I guess we can get into is later, but
Fallout 4 comes to life.
Yeah, pretty much. We're kind of killing our environment. We could probably save that for another time. We'll talk to you guys about that one. But going back to the social media and in our technology nowadays is, it's too much. It's too much, and we're really
everything we post on social media, we need to spend more time with that activity than the amount of time that we spend on the internet talking about it.
Yeah, instead of connecting, we are driving ourselves further and further apart because now we have that sense of we're singling ourselves out and only hearing our opinion nowadays too.
For me, social media, I don't post much, but when I do, it's something that I'm generally, adding to my, my portfolio of things that I've enjoyed. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you like to show... I personally like to show off things I do, or
The
sometimes
only
I'll post a
reason
selfie just for fun.
I don't even have a Twitter, or I don't even know the different social medias, to be honest with you guys. I don't care about them. The only reason I have a Facebook is because one of my friends made my Facebook profile in high school, freshman year. And I maybe made 4 or 5 posts. And we're talking 2011, 2012?
Yeah.
When that profile was made.
Junior made my Facebook profile.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't
don't
remember?
care
I don't remember
one
that.
bit about social media. When I talk to my friends, hey, what are you doing? I'm then oh, dude, I saw on social media you were at the mall earlier today. That's weird to me.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It's
Like,
I don't need to know every
I would-
second of your life.
Yeah,
Right.
that was a trend that I don't really see as much. Now it's the outrage culture.
Yeah.
Where, oh no, I seen a pregnant lady or something and feeding, or let's say I seen this lady feeding her child in public. That was a big thing that people kept posting on social media, and that was gross. And I'm like, I don't need to hear it. I know you got a complaint, but please keep that one to yourself.
Hey,
I mean, and
the
there's
baby just
nothing-
got to eat.
Yeah, it's human nature.
It's an entirely natural thing. Okay, yes, I can say, if you are walking through the park with your buddies and this girl is on the bench and she actually has the whole thing out, she might as well stand there naked, you could cover her up with a little throw blanket or something, but at the same time, she's feeding her kid. Let her be.
Yeah. What's it to you? That's how I feel. What's it to you?
If
what are you
if
gonna
it's
do?
really that bad, you could lean over hey, you're showing a lot, and just let her know.
Yeah,
Don't
'cause-
snap the picture, post it on social media.
Oh yeah, that's horrible.
No-
One, it's
no one
creepy,
cares.
and two, we don't want to hear that sort of negative opinion because it's not something that's not natural. It's not something we grown up
If
with.
anything, I want to
didn't
hear
grow up with.
your buddy was dude, did you see that? As she was looking at this girl, and then he hit a rock on his bike and smashed his face. I'd rather see that on social media because I'll laugh.
Yeah, right. Then that's funny. I could get into that. Why do we laugh when people get hurt?
I don't know.
For instance, when in that 1.5 episode, I talked about when Tyler smacked into a sign, and I laughed first.
I
It's
laugh
just-
at myself when I get hurt, so I don't. I think
Oh, me
that's just
too.
my personality. But when someone else gets hurt, it's an instant knee slapper.
It's hilarious.
I
I
bust
laugh
out
first, are you okay later?
What? Okay, I
And
got.
I mean, like 10 minutes later, you know?
Well, it's just because most of the time when it happens, it's something ridiculous. Like you said, he completely like hit a stop sign full
Yeah.
on.
Oh, yeah.
That's
it
funny.
was-
Like, how often do you see that?
Yeah. Like, I
that's
literally
a once
ate
in a
dirt.
lifetime thing.
Well, yeah.
One time I was with Justin, we used to have like a little BMX track in our neighborhood.
Oh, yeah.
And it had a huge drop-in hill. And then this is Justin's first time like being on off a road.
Yeah, and I was just standing, mind you, because you were riding the bike.
Well, it's when you dropped in.
Oh, yeah.
He flies down the hill.
Is this a
And he
different
comes-
story than the one in the 1.5?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a different story. He flies down the hill and he comes up, and I told him, "Hey, don't go too fast because you will launch in the air." So he's holding the brakes. He skid his back tire down, and then he didn't quite make it up the launch for the ramp. And he made it up to the top, and he tried putting his foot up to catch himself to pull him up. Well, the dirt just gave out. He fell right off the side of his bike, and there was like a little stump. That stump, I mean, he was lucky it was a flat cut off stump because he would have shoved something right up his asshole. He just smacked
Oh,
into that
gosh.
stump, and it hit him right in the tailbone, and he rolled all the way back down to the bottom of the hill. And I didn't ask him if he was okay. I fell off my bike and onto my back, and I was laughing my ass off.
Yeah, it's like... It's,
But when I
it's-
looked up, he's like he's on the ground in pain. Like he's got his hand on his hip, and he's like, but he's laughing. He's just laughing, and that's just no matter what. All of our friends, I've never had quote a normal friend.
You know when
All
it's
of my friends are weird.
no, it's like I was saying, when it's something ridiculous you don't see every day. But if it's something serious, like just like a really bad accident that doesn't involve a stop sign, it's like, whoa, are you okay, man?
Yeah, and I've had a couple of those with my friends, and I've had to stop and be like, "Yo, do we need to call someone?"
Yeah, like when you ran into Arlen, no one was laughing.
Oh
Everybody's
man,
like,
I was terrified. I thought I like legitly.
You
I
heard
thought we
him.
were gonna have to either throw him in the back of my pickup and go to the hospital or call 911. Like we were genuinely like scared. But after we noticed he was okay, everyone called me a dumbass. We laughed about it, and we went for another few laps.
Yeah, yeah. But, it's just... I thought that was kind of a strange idea that we laugh first and think later. But then I guess that kind of gets to... You got to find the humor in a lot of dark stuff that happens. Because if we're worried, I mean, I don't think I'd ever go out. You know?
if something's always bugging me, it's like I'm gonna be stuck in my head all the time and just never laugh.
Exactly. Like, if I couldn't laugh at something so horrendous, I guess, to an extent, right? Now, not when it obviously first happens, but you laugh at something ridiculous, like that was horrible, but you have a moment where you laugh at it. I think that's an outlook that we kind of have to have, not because we don't have, let's say, empathy for what is happening, but because if we can laugh at the worst times, we can laugh in the best times, is my point.
And we
Yeah.
do laugh in the best times.
Yeah, yeah, and we laugh in our worst. That's how you kind of go about life. And I think
If you want to get real personal, we can talk about what you've gone through. Justin lost his house the one time. Like, they literally went homeless. And I'm over here helping him move the stuff out of his house into storage units because that was their only option. They had to think of something quick. We're cracking jokes about it. I mean, and we're laughing the whole time. Like, oh, it was a terrible situation.
yeah, because you got to learn to laugh.
But at the same time, we had the humor. We pushed through it. He's in a new place now. We helped him move into the new place. And, you know, if you couldn't laugh about that and you couldn't try to make the best of it, where would you guys be right now?
right, you got to make the best of every situation because if not, if you can't laugh, you're not going to go anywhere. I don't know.
You have to know when you should.
It's one of those
Yeah.
things where we talked about, if you're not willing to fail, you're not going to get anywhere. Because if failure hits you and all you're going to do is you're going to sit there and talk about how much you failed or take it in a negative context and that all you see is the bad that came out of it, you're never going to move forward.
Nothing's gonna change.
Yeah, nothing's going to change. But if you take that failure and you learn from that mistake, and you pick yourself up, and you turn it into something better. Then you try again. Then you fail again. But then you learn from your mistake again. And it's a repeated cycle. You have to be willing to fail. One thing I learned in college, actually, from one of my professors, they had told us, well, if you're in business and you're not willing to fail, then you're not ready for business. This isn't the career path for you. And I kind of take that towards life. And I say, well, if I'm not ready to, I take it into life. Like, if I'm not ready to fail, then I'm not ready for life. Because life is a whole lot of failure. I would say failure happens at least, 6 out of 10 times. You got to be ready for that.
To me, I don't see it as failing.
Yeah, well, you fall.
When something goes wrong, and I tell myself I failed, I'm taking what I did wrong, and I'm accepting it. And then when I say I failed, it's like, well, now it seems like it's done. I can't try again. But if I take what messed up and be like, take the failure, and now it's like I convert it over to a learning experience.
Yeah.
Now I know that, all right, so that didn't work. Let's try a different way.
Yeah.
I didn't fail. I just did something that didn't work. If I give up and I walk away and I never try again, then I failed. Because I didn't do anything with it.
It's like one of those things where, growing pains. It's called growing pains for a reason. Because you're growing up, you're learning, and in those learning experiences, it's going to feel like the worst time ever. I mean, I remember being, jumping back to, like, let's say high school or something, and going through a certain situation, and you're like, this is the worst my life can get. Everything's falling apart, man. It's the worst. But then when you grow older, you're like, well, I learned a very valuable lesson. And now I know what to do, what not to do, or how to go about certain situations. And I don't know. I feel like we do need to continue to have that outlook towards a life. That's how you're going to get by in life. That's how you're going to understand and grow as a human being and be willing to, I feel like, even combat certain depression.
Yeah, and all this kind of ties in with the social media thing, because the big idea is the outcome that we bring with the social media. Instead of, let's say I post a picture and someone calls me fat. I can moan over that and be really depressed over that, or I can be like, all right, well, that's your opinion, I don't really care. Or I can be like, well, what can I do to be, I don't know, not fat? And then you can be a little active, work out.
Yeah, it's either accept who you are or improve it.
Or if someone says, oh, your opinion sucks. Okay, well, I mean, I can change my opinion a little bit, but it's still my opinion. So that's just how you think. This is how I think. And what that is you can disagree with someone else, and it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, agree to disagree.
Person.
If you're not willing to agree to disagree, I feel like that's an individual not willing to learn.
Let's say this: if you can't handle it, then you need to take a break from social media.
Exactly.
And another thing to bring up too is, with all these people that you follow, all you see is their success. You're never going to see their failures.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a tough thing for people to see too. It's like, wow, this person never struggles, and I'm in this situation.
Oh, and I guarantee you, everyone that's on top of their game, and let's say they're sitting up real high, they're in a real good spot in life, they work to get there.
Yeah.
They failed on their way to get there.
Exactly.
It didn't go 100% smooth for them, and they just had all the best luck in the world.
Every successful person that I've ever spoke to, or at least ever really followed up on and did research on, the amount of failure they had in their careers or in their life has been quite, very substantial to their overall path. But yeah, I agree with Junior. I mean, everyone could get into that mode where you're saying, wow, they're so lucky, they have this, they have that, but they never actually seeing what's behind the social media, and that's that person's life.
Here's a really good example. And I'm not going to talk about presidents and politics and any of that stuff, but I will say our president right now, he filed for bankruptcy how many times?
Yeah.
He failed and lost huge amounts to the point where he had to restart. And right now he's the president.
Yeah. You're going to get somewhere,
So-
eventually.
He might talk about all the great stuff that he does all the time, even though everyone may not think they're great. But he failed a lot.
That's
He
true.
messed up a lot, but look where he's at. And that's because he kept trying.
And meme culture.
In meme culture. I mean, that's one of those things,
is
though, where you yourself as a human being have to determine what makes you, what's your success. I could be a successful person, and let's say I'm just working at a basic level job like a McDonald's. And if that's my success, there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like everyone's putting their value of success or their
If you
value of
don't want to put
happiness.
something into something, you won't get anything out of it.
Yeah, it's true.
So if you're going to be super duper negative and always put negative input to everything,
Yeah.
you're going to have negative output and you're going to have a negative outcome to yourself. If you have a goal and you work towards it really, really hard and you stay positive and you keep on taking the next step, you're going to make it. You're going to keep trying.
Yeah, that's one of those things where if you keep comparing yourself to others, you're not going to know who you are. You lose sight of who you are because you're seeing, okay, this person does this and this person. And honestly, we're made to be our own person. We're called individuals for a reason, and that's because we're ourselves. I'm not Junior or I'm not Tyler. I'm me. I'm uniquely myself. It's not like we have a serial number on the bottom of our foot telling us that this is my path and I'm stuck this way because, I'm not like them or I'm not like them. No, I'm me. We are us.
Does
Does
anyone have a Sharpie? Because I'm about to give you a number and tell you how your life's going to be.
Right?
Because we're going to succeed in this podcast and we're going to move on to bigger and greater things.
Exactly.
I'm just going to put a number like 1752498 on Justin's foot, and I'm going to give him his whole career path.
If we were afraid to fail, I guess, at this podcast, and we're afraid to compare ourselves to other podcasts, we're never going to get anywhere.
We release this crap
That's
on the
a
internet,
mindset.
guys.
Yeah.
If I'm afraid of what you guys are going to say, this isn't going to get posted.
Yeah. I mean,
But
we like
guess
it.
what? You're going to hear me say that comment because it's
Exactly.
getting posted.
We like opinion, but if it's going to always be a negative opinion without constructive criticism, what makes you think we're going to listen?
There's going to be positive feedback. There's going to be negative feedback. There's going to be feedback that might be completely worthless.
Yeah.
But you have to know how to filter that, and you have to know how to use it to move forward.
You might have a comment that just says first.
Yeah. I always love those because I once did that, right? And I was like, first. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And I put first. My connection never updated. I was like 4th or 500. It just never updated.
I've done that before to one of my YouTubers, and I actually did get the first. And then this guy usually gets really good comments. And
Yeah.
there's usually a lot of good stuff to read in there. But all of a sudden it was first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And it went on to like a few hundred, and he didn't get anything good in his comments. He was like, you started this. He called me out on it in his next video, and he was like, you suck. And I'm like, yeah, my bad, bro. But that was pretty funny. And it was like, yes, it was.
You know what? I hope we get to the point, though, where someone feels the need to say first.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean,
That would feel pretty good.
Yeah.
I would feel good if I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my comment section, 300 comments
so if you're the
later.
first listener,
If you
if you feel the need.
if you're that excited and like hopped on and you really are first, and you're like, wow, I'm the first. That's pretty cool. It is.
Yeah.
Pretty
That means I am doing well.
Yeah, I mean,
and so are the rest of us.
talking about like opinions and how we feel, if it's not valid if it's negative. I mean, regardless, I'm glad you're listening.
Yeah.
We're all happy you guys are taking the initiative to even play us in the background. If you're doing laundry or you're driving a car or whatever you're doing, I'm glad you're listening to us. And
if you're driving the car, hit play before you start driving.
yeah. I mean,
No
there's
phone use
technology.
while driving,
Yeah.
please don't.
This is perfect. It's hour and a half. Go ahead and do your drive. Don't touch your phone. Just let this run. You know.
Just
There you
let us
go,
run.
there you
don't
go.
don't worry about the only ads you gotta listen to are from Oxford Gamerz Den and Lofty Cat Studios.
Maybe one day we can go live and you can talk with us.
Yeah, well, I mean that's a hopeful goal we're having is to make this into a bigger and better thing, and we thank every one of you listeners out there for again listening to us. Thank you so much.
And if you want to hear our opinions on something or want to hear us discuss something, just drop the question on the comment or something.
Don't be afraid to socialize with us. We will comment back.
We are willing to talk about anything and everything. So give us comments. We want the feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with that said, let's wrap it up.
Wait. We have the scratch off.
We have this.
Oh my
see,
gosh.
This could be a fail.
Okay, everyone. So when we ordered this equipment, we got this scratch off ticket where we can win up to. It's a big number of money.
Oh, wait.
You ready? It's $100. $100. I love it. $100.
But any money that we didn't have before is always.
And it says
welcome.
instantly. So right now, if I scratch this off, it should instantly be in my hands.
Right?
$100.
It's just going to deposit it. We'll take this scratch off and just scan it in the ATM. Ding! $100.
I'll read the ticket. It says, "Are you
hold
lucky?"
on. Where do you even take this to if you win?
I don't know. It could be completely fake.
I'm gonna read the full ticket for you guys. Okay, so it's a red card. It looks like a business card that I would buy at like the dollar store or something. But anyway, it says, "Are you a lucky winner?" I don't know. And it says, "Win up to $100 instantly." It says, "If you are the winner, please contact www.facebook.com/EBXYA for exchange."
Okay, cool. At least we know where to go to.
Yeah. So let's get this. Who's got something to scratch this with?
I got some keys.
Yeah, Q should work.
Give me a key. Pardon the key and the scratching noise we may have.
And the grunting.
Yeah. It takes a whole lot of manpower to scratch this. So let's. Okay. Let me,
As you scratch too
I'm
hard,
trying to,
whatever's under it just gets scratched off anyway.
Oh!
Is that a 20? We won $20.
$20, everyone. We're gonna keep you guys up to date if we get this $20 or if it's a complete scam.
And that shouldn't be enough for you guys to come back. Just to follow the story of the scratch off.
Yeah, follow us up. Follow us up. And now, with that said, we will be wrapping up the rest of the podcast. Now, guys, again, please leave comments. Please leave suggestions, likes.
Give us topics.
Give us a like on our Instagram or Twitter. It's under the same handle, @theamateurhour_. Again, I'll repeat it one more time, @theamateurhour_. And as well as on our SoundCloud, please give us a subscribe or a like. It's free. You have nothing to lose.
And don't forget to check out all the comments and our descriptions for our other sponsors as well. With that
Exactly.
note, thank you for chiming into the Amateur Hour.
Yes, and thank you to our sponsors one last time, Oxford Gamerz Den and Lofty Cat Studios.